Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to SimPlay Motorsport. My name's Dan Davis, and I'll be bringing you all the action, sadly, on my own tonight, as Lexi is busy this evening. But nonetheless, I'll still be able to give you all the great action here at Zandvoort for the next round of the season, round 3 of the championship, and we're here in the Netherlands, the home of Max Verstappen, and what a night of racing we have ahead of us. We do have some weather lingering around for this week, not just only for the Ginetta GT4s, but also possibly for the pro category. But tonight is all about the pros. Sorry, the GT4s. I'm already one step ahead. 2 steps ahead to make that, actually. But we are getting ready for tonight's race, and as you can see, it is Tordok leading the way up the top of the tables. And regarding the championship standings, it looks like this. Hooper leads the way with 316 points ahead of his teammate Kieran O'Reilly in second, 3 points behind, with Matthew Duffin sat in that P3, 6 points behind him. Then Tordok, who's now gone from reserve to a full-time driver, is in P4, so we can now look to try and chase after that championship that he desperately wants in this category. Then we've got Self sat in P5 and McGowan in P6, Matt Wright in P7 with Snye in P8 with Hoffner P9 with Darren Yeo in P10. Will Friedman sat in 11th with Bolton in 12th. Zampolini 13th with Carlos in 14th with Calcef 15th. Leach in 16th with Cranes 17th. Varga in 18th position. 19th is Gundaway Gude with Langley in 20th. While Bell is in 21st. Aberdeen 22nd and Tipping in 23rd with Ramsell in 24th with Millington 25th. Nebo in 26th in the championship with Oldham Racer 27th. Gary Carball 28th with Skunky sat in 29th and looking very competitive tonight. Marsden currently sat in 30th position with Johnston 31st. Cummings in 32nd with Pete Williams 33rd. Then we got Stark in 34th. Archer 35th. Taylor 36th. Smith in 37th. Fernie in 38th. And Betson in 39th. And Cherrymore in that 40th position. And a few drivers still yet to get off the mark. Regarding the teams, it is Dapper Racing with a massive lead out in front, 218 points ahead of MSA Racing in second place, with SimPlay Racing currently in P3, Ballbusters Racing P4 with Quantum Motorsport P5, with CT Motorsport with Tordok all on his own in P6. P7 is Greasy Bandits Racing with Team GBR in 8th, Team RRM in 9th, while Team Full Send Jorders the Jorders in that P10 with OWR Racing in 11th. 12th is Piston Pounders, Roadrunners Motorsport in 13th with Team Audio Sport 14th, Soldor Racing in 15th with GD Racing 16th. 2C's Racing in 17th. 18th is CGT Motorsport. 19th is Team Tom. 20th is Team FBR. Blunt Force Racing 21st. And still to get off the mark is OGR. That is a rundown of your championship standings. Let's hear from you guys in the chat. Currently 8 people watching the stream. Guys, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to be notified so you do not miss anything here at SimPlay Motorsport. But like I said, round 3 of the season. And a circuit that will bring some great racing tonight. Very tight, very twisty, and like I said, with rain lurking around as well, all sorts can happen at this circuit. The circuit itself, Zandvoort. Let's get a overhead shot of the circuit. Very tight, twisty circuit. It is in Zandvoort, north of Holland of the Netherlands. Capacity up to 105,000 people, and was opened back in the 7th of August 1948. It's been open for 76 years, and it has been the home for the Dutch Grand Prix. Other championships they do come in is the GT World Challenge Europe and also DTM as well. The current circuit, the layout that we all know from Formula 1 is 4.9 kilometers long. That's 2.6 miles long, but the current configuration that we are currently running at the minute is 4.3 and 2.6 miles long, obviously due to the fact there's less banking here, which makes the circuit longer. Lap record around here is a 121.0, and that was done in an F1 car itself, and I will try and find the records for the GT3. That is a 1:33.6 done in a McLaren 720S GT3 Evo, and that was done back in 2024 in the DTM Championship. And that's a quick rundown of this circuit. Like I said, the home of the Orange Army and the home of Max Verstappen. We are currently only 7 subscribers away from getting to that important 1,000 subscribers. So please, guys, do what you can and spread the stream around, as it does help us out massively here at SimPlay Motorsport. But let's find a driver and take us a lap around this beautiful circuit. I believe there is the 177 or the 977, and that is Big Kalsef. We'll go on board with him. And obviously, like I said, this is not the current form that everyone would know from Formula 1. It is the old version, so there's no banking. But as we come out to the final corner, Kalsef will set himself ready to go down the long main straight, the longest straight on the circuit, as you then head down towards turn number 1, braking just at the 75-meter range. You can see he goes a little bit deep, but you can get away with a slight banking in turn 1, which is able to bring the front end back in as he then works his way into 2, brake, drop down a gear, into 3, get the front grip up, and then into the tricky 4, down 1 more gear, try and get it into hook onto the inside of the circuit and get a good exit as you then swing into the fast flowing turn 5, turn 6, and turn 7. No real struggles here, just keeping a nice smooth line, making it as straight as possible. Then into 8, brake as late as you dare, get the front to turn in, try and get some grip, and as 8, then it leads into 9, and then into 10. All really tricky, no real rest point here, and you can see there Kalsef making a mistake, and around he goes, and into the wall he goes, as we will try and get on board with a driver that's at the same point. And into the hairpin goes Carlos. Make sure you get a good exit through there as you then head towards the next tight hairpin, which is making sure you get the front end to grip up, get a good exit. Once you get that good exit, then you can head down towards the tricky chicane. A little bit of a brake heading down into the braking zone. Brake as much as you can. The Ginettas should be able to abuse the curb quite a lot. But then into the tricky tight hairpin. Slightly banked once again, get a good exit through there, then leading you into the penultimate corner. And after all the good hard work that they would have done from the rest of the lap, it's very easy just to run a little bit wide, touch the gravel, and then into the final corner, giving it a good slingshot out of the final corner and towards the line as Carlos, as you can see, runs wide, clips the wall, and that is a lap of Zandvoort. And I said, a tricky circuit to get right, but when you do get it right, it's probably one of the most satisfying laps you will do around the circuit. So as we've got 2 minutes left of the session, let's have a quick look at the running order. It's Tordot leading away from Skunky ahead of O'Reilly, Carlos in that P4 with Snai P5, Hooper in P6 with Kalsef P7, Duffin currently in 8th with Clarbel in P9, Wright in 10th with Langley in 11th, and Taylor in 12th, Fernie 13th with Stardog 14th, Bolton in 15th with Goudet sat in 16th, Millington in 17th. Then we've got Tipping in 18th, Ramsell in 19th, Aberdeen in 20th, Smith 21st with Bell in 22nd, Marston 23rd, Archer 24th with Cherrymore in 25th, Storick in 26th, Friedman in 27th, and then Leach in 28th, just getting out on the circuit. And then we've got McGowan at the back in 29th. Only 29 cars tonight. Just interested to see how this all pans out. And while we have the chance, guys, have a look at our fantastic sponsors in the bio as well. And our fantastic sponsors are Design Manchester, producers of vinyl graphics, laser engraved gift mugs, printed clothing, and much more, including SimPlay merchandise. And also have a look at our fantastic sponsor, Audio Sport, manufacturers of VW Transporter, T4 audio solutions and styling products. Head over to www.audiosport.co.uk. And all their links as well to their Facebook page are there as well. So that is a quick rundown of everything that we need to get done. That is 30 seconds left on the clock. And let's hear from you guys. Who do you think is going to be the one to beat tonight? Tordok is looking very competitive here tonight, and we'll see what he can do. Garlich now coming out at the final corner. Can he get a lap time on the board? So that's it, guys. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to be notified so you don't miss anything here at SimPlay Motorsport. Like I said, we've got a long week of racing here at Zandvoort. Pro-Ams tomorrow night. What can they do around this circuit? And obviously we have got the pros on Thursday as well. Myself bringing you all the action on that Wednesday night for the Pro-Am. Matthew Duffin and Kelly Davis, sweet and sticky in your box, bringing you all the action for the third round of the pro category as well. Now coming to the end of the free practice session, and it's looking like it is going to be Tordok who is going to leave the session with the bragging rights going into the first race. Reminder of how this format works on this championship. And we have 3 races here. All 3 are 20 minutes. And we also have ballast for your championship contenders. Obviously, the heaviest going to your championship leader and then works its way down. So Hooper carrying that 40 kilos on board. O'Reilly 35, 30 for Duffin, 25 for Tordok, and so on and so forth. But Leach comes to the end of the session, and we now go into a 10-minute qualifying session, and this is going to be fast and frantic. A lot of drivers coming straight out on track, and all fighting for positionings. Once again, Matthew Duffin, being at the end of the pit lane, manages to get out first. But there is, like I said, a lot of cars behind him who want some racing space. And it might not necessarily be the best place to be out in front. But trying to get as much temperature in the rears of his car as he possibly can there. So 10 minutes for this session, and the rest of the night it will be a 7-minute qualifying session. Very fast-paced qualifying session indeed, and it's important that they make all these laps count. So guys, if you know or want to predict who is going to take the pole here tonight, then feel free to drop it in the chat. Get your predictions on who you think is going to take pole position on this first run. A reminder to the drivers that when they come into the final sector, they will not be allowed to overtake one another. And they will have to stay where they are, back up, and try and get some space if they possibly can. We'll stay on board with Hooper as he takes us for a lap of this fantastic circuit here in the Netherlands. Out of final corner goes, and on to his lap. Off we go. What can Hooper do? That is the question. Into turn number 1. With Matthew Duffin just up the road from him, as you can see in the final sector, all the white dots popping up. That means slow drivers, and obviously that means everyone's backing themselves up to get a little bit of space. Now into the tight hairpin as Hoopert looks to have a decent run through there. So Matthew Duffin just up the road from him at this precise stage, and he's going to set the benchmark. With the 2 dapper racing Ginettas looking mighty, may I say, this season. They've been absolutely brilliant. And Hooper through the right-hander he goes. And then finally into the middle sector as well. Just behind him, it looks like that is McGowan behind him. We'll move to the front. We'll have a look at what Duffin's able to do. 2 drivers on a qualifying ban here tonight for the first race. And Duffin now out of the hairpin, heading into the penultimate corner. You can see Hooper is relatively close to him, so Hooper has made time up on Duffin. But into the final corner comes Duffin himself. Mr. SimPlay himself out of the final corner. What can Matt produce here? To the line he comes. And it's a 45.3. Hooper crosses the line and goes 0.3 of a lap faster anyway, as McGowan does not set a lap time. O'Reilly to the line, he does a 44.9, and he was looking quite competitive in the first day. Tordock goes straight to the top with a 44.7. Snide, though, goes even faster, 44.6. No weight on board, possibly just 5 kilos on board for him, so he's looking quite quick. Millington to the line goes into P7. Kalsef now goes into P6, so times now coming in thick and fast. Gary Carble goes 9th overall, with Ramsell only 11th with that one, struggling for sure. Matt Wright now putting himself up into P6. And I said the times are coming in thick and fast. Stardog crossing the line in 10th place position, I believe, just in the background. Will Friedman, yes, setting a lap time to put him 4th overall. A good lap time from him. And Langley there in 8th place position. So, like I said, lap times are going to be improving left, right, and centre. And we come to the final half of this qualifying session. Skunky not put a lap time on the board here. A lot of drivers struggling to get a lap time on the board. And you see there Gary Leach with pretty much some clean air to himself. Is that worked out for him? That is the question, as Duffin now exits the final corner. And to the line comes Duffin. He finds an improvement, but doesn't go any faster than where he is at the minute. Hooper, no improvement either. We want to keep an eye out for Tordock. O'Reilly to the line. He goes fastest with 44.4. What could Tordock do, though? He does not improve and stays where he is at this precise time. Snye, meanwhile, no improvement either, stays P2. I believe that is Langley. No, it's not Langley coming to the line. That looked like... Not sure who it was, but either way, we'll go to Klarbel. Gary Klarbel, what can he do? Does he improve? No improvement for him. As McGowan does get a lap time on the board, and Ramsell improves, as does Wright, so they all move up a position. We see their driver improved. That is John Goudet, who puts himself in P5. A good qualifying session there for Goudet. Who else on an improvement at the minute? We've got here Langley in the tow, improves to go to P12, so good lap time from him. Has Skunky put a lap time on the board? He has, but where's it put him? It puts him in P7 for the meantime. And again, we look to lap times coming to the end of their third runs. And into the final corner once again comes Hooper and Duffin. Possibly 2 more laps out of these two. Oh, Hooper's gone very wide, clipping the wall. Has Duffin improved? He has, and puts in P5 with that lap time. Hooper there, sorry, losing his lap. McGowan now improves to go back to P4 with that lap time. Where is Tordock? Here he comes to the line. He goes fastest overall with a 44.2. So good lap time from him. Snye, no improvement on that one. Bolton, neither improves either. To the line to 59. That is Millington, and no improvement from him either. And here comes John Goudet. Seems to be finding a little bit of a rhythm here at Zandvoort in these Ginettas. Has he found a bit more time? No, he hasn't, so he will not improve on his current position. Just keep an eye if any of their drivers will improve. We got Langley coming out of the final corner. Oh, getting a little bit wide onto the dirt there by the looks of things as he comes to the line. No improvement for him. Meanwhile, Skunky does improve to go to P3 and matches O'Reilly's time. But of course, O'Reilly done it first, so O'Reilly will keep the position. And we look to the further back. That is Gary 131, who is on a valid lap. Can he improve on P17? No, he cannot. He stays where he is at the moment. So one more lap from him. And here comes Matthew Duffin out of the final corner. Trying to extract everything he possibly can out of this car. No improvement from him there. McGowan to the line. Any improvement? No. So drivers now struggling to find those couple of tenths now. O'Reilly, no improvement. Tordock, no improvement. And we've got a couple of drivers on an invalid lap of Snye and Bolton, both invalid. Just behind them is Ramsell, I believe. He does improve. No, it wasn't Ramsell. It was Millington. He improves ever so slightly. And we look to Matt Wright next to come to the line. Matt Wright, what can he do from 14th? He now goes into P8 just behind Matthew Duffin. And Goudet, no improvement from him there. And now that's Will Friedman further back. Can he find a little bit of time? Yes, he does. Top four separated by less than 10th and a half at the minute. So they are absolutely flying towards the front end of this pack. And into the last few stages of this session. Last laps, these guys can get in. Archer to the line. He improves to go P22. That is his session done. Marsden done in P20. Here comes Gary Leach on his last lap. What can he produce here? Gary Leach goes to 16th in the end, finishing the session there. Duffin cannot improve. And I believe Hooper never improved either. So it is Tordock who's currently on a lap. Into the final few corners comes Tordock. Can he extend the gap of what he's got so far? At 44.2, no, he's done. O'Reilly is in the pits. Skunky is a man to keep an eye on, as is Snye. Here he comes out the final corner, 0.3 of a second off at the minute. Has he found a little bit more time? No, he has not. He will stay where he is. Bolton, meanwhile, doesn't improve. He only goes 12th. That looks like Matt Wright just behind. No, it's not. It is Millington. He only stays 18th. Here is Matt Wright. Can he find a couple of tenths just to get him into the top 5? Matt Wright does. He gets himself into 7th place position. A good lap time from him. Will Friedman, meanwhile, on a lap. Can he get near the top? No, he can't. He goes to the pits. And Clarble improves. And return to pit lane he comes. The 186. Who is that? That is... I'm not sure who that was in the end, but that is that. It is Advantage Tordock. So good qualifying session from him right there. That was Cherrymore who was at the end of that session. And it was the 4-1-1 of Archer towards the end. But it is Tordock who takes pole position for the first race tonight. And he'll get an extra championship point for that one. So an intense qualifying session there. As drivers now get themselves ready to go. As Tordock once again showing his pace. Now he's a fully committed driver to this championship. He will try and get every possible point he can. Skunky, a really good qualifying session from him. Really been struggling through most of the season, as has Will Friedman, and it's nice to see the pair of them up there in the thick of it. And we'll see what they can do in this session. There's a prediction there of who you think is going to win this first race. So get your votes in on who you think is going to top this session. And more importantly, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to be notified so you do not miss anything here at SimPlay Motorsport.
30 seconds.
And now they've just got less than 20 seconds now to get themselves ready to go.
10 seconds.
10 seconds to go before we get our formation lap underway and ready. As they will now leave the grid. "29 cars here at Zandvoort." The tightest circuit on the calendar, the hardest circuit on the calendar in my opinion. And it is going to be an all-out war for this one. Ian in the chat, it's a difficult guess. This track can be hell on the first half, so as anyone's race at that point, it is indeed. Old Sim Racer chat, good luck tonight, lads. To the man who started on pole position, there he is, Tordok. Can he take another win to his name? Slowly working his way up the SimPlay rankings. I'll try and find him on the list. Currently 13, he has 15 wins to his name here at SimPlay Motorsport. So he's really starting to make his way up there in the listings. Currently 12 most wins at the minute. He's only 2 away from beating Andy O'Reilly, only with 18 wins to his name.